Well, I was born and raised in York County, and like anybody who lives anywhere near Gettysburg, there's an interest in the Civil War. Did I have any ancestors in the Civil War? I had two direct ancestors and one collateral ancestor, a great-grand uncle. And when I found out that he had been court-martialed, cashiered for misbehavior in the face of the enemy, I was hooked. I started reading their pension files and their compiled military service records. And then I said, why don't you write a regimental history from all your learning? So I spent a good 20 years researching that regiment and finally was able to publish it with the help of another York County historian who has a PhD in the subject named Mark Snell, who assisted me in that greatly. And it came out, the 87th Pennsylvania Regimental History. I wanted to build a database that shows their definitive history in the regiment, which means going to primary sources. And one of the things I've learned over the years is just how bad sources are of a tertiary, secondary nature. Most of what you read, for example, in the obituaries of Civil War veterans describing their military service is wrong. And when you get to the 20th century, the Civil War became so romanticized that just inherent falsehoods started to creep in because we wanted everybody to have marched to the sea with Sherman, fought at Gettysburg, or sat in the same room with Grant at Appomattox, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Almost never is it true. One of the things I would like to do is to rectify some of those historical inaccuracies, and one of the things I do in the database is to point them out. It takes an enormous amount of time to do it. I've been doing it for 35 years. I'm not done. I'm only hoping now that I live long enough to complete it, if in fact you can ever really complete something like this. I also include genealogical data. The idea being that if someone like me said, do I have an ancestor who was a Civil War veteran? You may not know, but you probably remember Grandma Jones. And she was married, her maiden name was Smith. And she married a guy, oh my gosh, he was a Civil War veteran. That is infinitely more challenging than military data. Sometimes they get upset to find out that Grandpa was a deserter, or he had been court-martialed, or he was in trouble, had a little drinking spell or something, but they were human beings, they were people, they weren't gods. They weren't romantic figures waving the flag and rushing across the field just to self-aggrandize. They were men doing a job.